So this race marks the start of a new Youngstar season, which means a completely clean slate and new videos. And this season I'm going to aim to get the videos out within a week of the race. Well, that line aged well, didn't it? However, this race would be quite different to others, as it would be one of the most strategic races that I've had in a long while, as 90% of the race was decided off track rather than on it, with a mixture of strategy calls and weather conditions. But enough waffle, let's dive straight into the video. So the race would start with a bold strategy call, as during our weigh-in, it started pouring it down with rain, and we said that if the rain didn't last very long, or looked like a light shower, I would do qualifying as normal. However, the weather ended up being neither of those things. So there was heavy rain for basically the first 20 minutes. This meant we decided to put Josh in the car, as he has the most wet experience out of any of the drivers in our team. And despite it not yet being wet enough for him to shine in qualifying, with us starting P9, the hold up on the grid meant that the track was soaking by the time the race started. And despite losing a couple places off the line, he pulled off some amazing overtakes, getting us all the way up to P6 by the end of the first lap, and P4 by the end of his stint. However, due to a slow pit stop, I came out for my stint net 6th. Now, you may have noticed that said first stint has been playing the entire time I've been yapping, and from that you'll probably be able to gather that it was a pretty boring one, or at least from the outside looking in. However, this first stint was actually really important to the rest of the race, as I needed to put in consistent quali lap times to regain our net position, and I was able to do this really well, as I had a lot of clear air. Another thing you may notice is that I'm wearing a wetsuit when it's completely dry. And despite the fact that I'm absolutely burning to a crisp, it shows how perfectly timed our strategy was, as we pulled Josh in literally 30 seconds before it stopped raining, meaning that when I went out for my stint, I was able to start doing dry lines straight away, while others transitioned to them a bit slower, meaning that for a lot of my stint, I was the fastest person on track, meaning that we gained a lot of time on the rest of the field, putting us back up into our net position and very much in the fight for the podium. And aside from 2 short battles, nothing else really happened in this stint, so I'll cut to the next one. So my teammate Kobe held really good pace during his entire stint, holding our position in a solid net 4th, with only a couple seconds forward to 3rd. However, when all looked as though it was going well, we had another slow pit stop, meaning that we got jumped in the pit lane by the car behind, dropping us down to P5. But we refused to give up, and just a lap later we were right on his tail. So into the last corner, we're really putting the pressure on. You can see him look behind him. Can we force him into a mistake? Into the last corner we can. He's going to have to move across, which is going to cause him to lose a lot of momentum. We're going to peel to the outside. Can we make it around the outside? No, not quite. He's going to block off the inside line, so we're going to take it wide around the corner. Can we try and find some time on the exit? We can. We're right up his bumper, and now into 180. We're going to claim the inside. Can we pull off a switchback? We can, and it's a beautiful switchback back up into P4. However, this wouldn't last for long, as just 3 laps later, after pulling a small gap, the yellow flags were brought out into Sector 1, and I want to let you guys decide if this was a fair overtake. But it doesn't matter, as the next lap we get a much better run out of the last corner. We're going to catch him all the way down the straight, gaining, to the left, to the right. Which way are we going to go? We're going to look to the right. It's not going to be good enough, so we're going to switch. We've caught him unawares, a proper dive bomb down the inside. Can we get the move done? No, he's able to hold the outside, but we're going to have the inside line into 180, and we're going to be able to make the move stick. But like before, aside from a couple instances of quickly dispatching back markers, nothing else really happened in this stint. But with the gap between P3 and P6 just 10 seconds in the last half an hour, some clear air really helped us, as between 2 slow pit stops and a weight penalty, we were almost kicked out of the podium fight. But despite holding net 3rd or 4th for basically the whole race, and some really great pace from the entire team, when Kobe went out for the last stint to bring the race home, he exited the pits just P6. We assumed that some of the teams in front just hadn't pitted yet, so we waited and waited until the 5-minute mark, when we were still P6. So despite this being slightly frustrating, we still had a fight on our hands, as P5 was just 5 seconds ahead. and Kobe managed to catch up with just 2 laps remaining. So as he crossed over onto the penultimate lap, he knew he only had 2 chances to get us up into P5, and he would fight extremely hard, spending basically the entire final lap side by side. However, when they crossed the line, we ended up P6 by just 0.2 of a second.